Have you ever stopped and asked yourself this question? If a hacker gained access to your donor base tomorrow, would your nonprofit survive the fallout? Not just financially, I'm talking about trust. Because for most nonprofits, trust is everything. It's what motivates donors to give. It's what convinces volunteers to show up. It's what allows your organization to fulfill its mission. And when that trust is damaged, it can take years to rebuild. The unfortunate reality is that cybercriminals have figured something out. Many nonprofit organizations have valuable information, but don't often have the cybersecurity resources as large corporations. That combination makes nonprofits attractive targets. And today, we're gonna talk about why cybercrime is hitting nonprofits harder than ever, the most common attacks that we're seeing, what happens after a breach, and how cyber insurance can help protect your organization when things go wrong. So let's jump in. A lot of nonprofit leaders assume that hackers are only interested in large corporations. The truth is, cybercriminals don't always care how big the organization is. They care about opportunity, and nonprofits are exactly what they're looking for. First, donor information. Think about all the data that your organization collects. Names, addresses, phone numbers, emails, donation history, sometimes even payment information. That's incredibly valuable data. To a criminal, your donor base can be worth a lot of money. Second, payment information. Many nonprofits process donations online every single day. Some manage reoccurring donations. Others process event registrations, sponsorship payments, membership fees, and even ticket sales. Any system that handles a financial transaction becomes a target. Third, limited technology budgets. This isn't criticism, this is a reality. Most nonprofits are trying to maximize every dollar towards their mission. Cybersecurity often gets pushed down on the priority list because there's so many other immediate needs. The challenge is that criminals know this. They know that many nonprofits don't have dedicated IT teams. They know that software updates often get delayed. They know that employee cybersecurity training isn't always a budget priority. And they take advantage of those gaps. Let's talk about the attacks that we see most often. Because honestly, understanding those threats are the first step to preventing them. First, we're going to talk about business email compromise. This is one of the fastest growing cyber crimes today. Here's how it typically works. A criminal gains access to an employee email account, or they create a fake email address that looks almost identical to a legitimate one. Then they send messages pretending to be the CEO, executive board member, executive director, board member, or even a vendor. The email might say, "Can you send this payment today?" Or "Please update our banking information." Or "Purchase these gift cards immediately." And because the request appears legitimate, someone follows those instructions. By the time that someone realizes that something is wrong, the money's gone. We've seen organizations lose thousands of dollars in a matter of minutes. Now, let's talk about wire fraud. Wire fraud often starts with email compromise. A vendor's banking information gets changed, an invoice gets intercepted, a payment gets redirected. The nonprofit might think that they're paying a legitimate bill. Instead, the money is being sent directly to criminals. Once those funds are transferred, recovering them can be extremely difficult. Sometimes straight up impossible. Now, let's talk about ransomware. This is probably the cyber threat most people have heard of. Ransomware happens when criminals lock your systems and encrypt your files. Suddenly, your donor database is inaccessible. Financial records are unavailable. Volunteer information disappears. Programs grind to a halt. Then comes the demand: pay us or lose your data. And even if an organization decides to pay, there's no guarantee that they'll get everything back. That's what makes ransomware so dangerous. Now, let's talk about donation fraud. This one often flies under the radar. Criminals create fake fundraising pages, fake donation links, fake social media campaigns. Sometimes they impersonate legitimate nonprofits entirely. Supporters believe that they're helping their cause. Instead, their money goes directly to scammers. Not only does this hurt the donors financially, but it can cause serious damage to your organization's reputation. So what happens after the breach? Most people focus on the attack itself, but the attack itself is just the beginning. Let's say a breach occurs tomorrow. Now what? First comes the forensic investigation. Experts need to determine what happened, how the breach occurred, what information was accessed, how long criminals were inside the system. That process alone can be expensive. Next comes the notification costs. Depending on the situation, affected individuals may need to be notified. That could include donors, employees, vendors, volunteers, board members, anyone whose information may have been compromised. Then comes the potential legal expenses. If sensitive information was exposed, legal counsel often becomes necessary. You may need guidance on compliance requirements, response obligations, and potential liability concerns. Then there's the public relations. And honestly, this is one of the most overlooked costs. Because after a breach, you're not just managing technology problems, you're managing trust. Donors are going to want answers. Board members want updates. Community partners want reassurance. The media may have questions. And suddenly, your leadership is dealing with a crisis that they never expected. The financial impact can be serious, but the reputational damage can be even worse. So, what exactly does cyber insurance do? This is where cyber insurance comes into the conversation. Think of cyber insurance as a financial safety net combined with access to specialized experts. Many cyber policies can help pay for things like forensic investigation, data recovery, legal expenses, notification costs, credit monitoring services, public relations support, ransomware response, business interruption expenses, and more. The exact coverage varies by policy, but the goal is the same: helping your organization recover when a cyber event occurs. But let's be honest, most nonprofits aren't equipped to handle a major cyber incident entirely on their own, and they shouldn't have to. Now, here's something important. Not all cyber insurance policies are created equal. And this is where many organizations get caught off guard. Some policies have restrictions around social engineering or even email fraud. Others may have limited ransomware coverage. Some exclude certain types of payment fraud. Others have a requirement around employee training, multi-factor authentication, or system security in general. If those requirements aren't met, coverage issues can arise. That's why it's so important to review your policy carefully and understand exactly what protections you have in place. Don't assume, verify, because assumptions can be expensive. So let's talk about prevention, because the best cybercrime is the one that never happens. A few simple steps can dramatically reduce your risk. Enable mobile factor authentication on every important account. Train employees and volunteers to spot suspicious emails. Use strong, unique passwords. Keep software updated. Backup critical data regularly. Limit access to sensitive information. And create a plan before an incident happens, not after. Because when a cyber attack occurs, it's too late to start building a response strategy. The organizations that recover faster are usually the ones that prepared ahead of time. If your nonprofit has donor information, employee records, payment systems, email accounts, or online fundraising platforms, you have cyber exposure. This is not fear-mongering, it's reality. The good news is that cyber risk can be managed with the right safeguards, the right planning, and the right insurance strategy. If you don't know whether your organization is properly protected, now is the time to find out. Don't wait until a hacker finds the weakness before you do. If you'd like help identifying potential cyber risks inside your organization, reach out and request a cyber risk assessment. We'll help you understand where your vulnerabilities may exist, what protections you already have in place, and where gaps could leave your nonprofit exposed. Because protecting your mission starts with protecting the organization behind it. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.